What's up guys, it's time for another FM Virtual Stadium tour, and today we are at the Nou Camp, or the Camp Nou if you're in Spain, the home of Barcelona Football Club, or FC Barcelona, again that's if you're in Spain. And as always, the first fact I have for you on this stadium is that it was opened in 1957, and it was originally opened as a two-tier stadium. The tiers are easier to see if I come round to the side here. You can see clearly bottom, middle and top tiers there. And when it was first opened it only had the two tiers, but it was still able to hold 93,000 people. This is only Barcelona's second stadium ever, after the Camp de les Corts, which could hold 60,000 supporters, but with the club's growing fan base, the management there decided that they needed a new stadium, and so this was built. But it wasn't originally called the Camp Nou. It was called the Estadi del FC Barcelona, and the Camp Nou, or the Nou Camp, was actually a nickname up until a lot later when they officially changed the name of the stadium. But as popularity kept growing, they decided to put another tier on the top of it, and I think at the time the stadium was specifically developed so that another tier could be put on if needed. And I think that's why there's only a roof over the main grandstand of it, because it makes it easier to build more, because you don't have to take a roof off, you can just stick more seats on the top. But this stadium, in contrast to the Real Madrid stadium, the Bernabeu, has not been changed really at all since it was made, apart from that new top tier being put on. Which means that at one point when the top tier was on, they could hold an estimated 125,000 people in the stadium. But as I always seem to say in these videos, you have to take that with a pinch of salt, because the rules were different for stadium safety back then. You could fit a lot more supporters in, they could be standing up. They were packed in like sardines just to get more people in the stadiums, to get better atmospheres. Since then they've invented safety, and now everywhere has to be seated, and it's only recently that seats have taken over the whole of the Nou Camp. Up until very recently, I think so the mid 1990s even, there was standing on the top tier. So they've only recently put seats in relative contrast to other stadiums, where seating has actually been around since sort of the mid 1950s in some of them, especially in England with the disasters that went on there. But yeah, they put it in. They put the seats finally in there, which lowered the capacity to 98,000. Still the biggest footballing stadium in Europe. But it's, as I say, it's an old stadium, so all the corporate facilities and VIP areas that newer stadiums have, this hasn't got any of that. It's a bare bones stadium. And if I spin round to the main grandstand here, up the top there you have the VIP seats, but in real life in front of that you have the hanging down commentators section, which is attached to the roof. And I just wanted to explain, because I've actually been here, that commentator section hangs down from the roof, but there are seats directly underneath it, and it's only about 5 or 6 foot off of those seats. So it's fine when you're sitting down, but you can't stand up straight if you're a taller person in that area. But when you sit in the seats and have a look, it is so perfectly proportioned that you can just see the pitch. You cannot see any of the stands around it because of this commentator section around you. You can just see the pitch. So you can see all the play that's on the floor, which isn't a problem when Barcelona are playing, obviously. But as soon as the ball goes in the air, you've lost it. You don't know where it is. And it's just absolutely brilliant. This is the only stadium outside of the UK that I've actually been to. The only abroad holiday that my family's ever been on was to the outskirts of Barcelona, and we went into the city one day and saw this stadium, and it's an impressive spectacle. I wanted to see a match there, but I think it was closed season while we were there, so there wasn't anything really going on. But anyway, yeah, coming to the end of this video now, all I have to say is that Barcelona in recent years have decided that, have been exploring that whether they can actually build more in this stadium, maybe put a fourth tier in it, which would make it absolutely massive, or to build a completely new stadium. And they've sort of flip-flopped between the two ideas for years, and at one point they decided to expand the Nou Camp, but they either got planning permission failure or they couldn't raise the funds or something, so that was scrapped. And then a few years later they came back with a new idea to build a completely new stadium, but the same, they either got planning permission failure or they didn't get funding, so that was scrapped too. So just so you guys know, they are looking to expand this stadium out again or get a new one. So they're not content with what they've got, even though it's already the biggest stadium in Europe. But obviously with the Bernabeu increasing in size and other stadiums doing likewise, they want to stay ahead of the game, obviously. So yeah, that's been the video on the Nou Camp. Please remember to check us out on our Twitter account, Facebook page, or even the website. All the links will be down in the description. Laters!